Hello everyone. So this is just a reminder of APA. This video is going to talk about how to create a citation and how to create that reference page. Other videos might focus on in-text citations, things like that, but that's a lot for one video. So we're just going to deal with this video right now. So, what is APA? Well, it's the American Psychological Association. It is a style that writers in many disciplines use around the world for concise, powerful, and persuasive scholarly communication, including the field of communication, also psychology and history as well. If your degree or your discipline does not use APA, you're going to want to make sure that you are following their guidelines, but for this class, you definitely need to know APA. So it is common for social sciences, for essays and papers. It gives very specific formatting instructions for in-text and reference list entries. And right now we are on the APA 7 edition. So what does it look like? Parts of the APA citation journal article is a lot. You look at this and you might say there are so many pieces. So we're going to talk about each of these pieces individually, but this is a typical journal article. So in this video, I'm going to talk about journal articles, but I will show you where you can look up books, websites, and things like that so you can cite them correctly. First thing you want to notice about this APA citation is that it has a hanging indent, which means the first line is not indented, but the rest of it is. So teachers, scholars are going to be looking at the hanging indent. Believe me, it stands out if it's not quite correct. So the next thing you want are the author's names. So the author's names are in the order they're supposed to be already. Do not alphabetize them. This is something that when a paper is written, the authors decide their author order. So in this case, do not change this at all. I'll talk about when you need to use alphabetical order in a little bit. So in this case, we have Ailey M as the author, Han L as the author, Tamarini R as an author, Goebel H as an author, Zhang L as an author, Grady S as an author, and Baldwin J as an author. All of their names belong on the citation. So you have commas, you have last name, comma, first initial, period. If somebody is using their middle initial, it would be last name, comma, first initial, period, middle initial, period, comma. As you can see, between the last two individuals, Grady S and Baldwin J, there is the and. That belongs there. Do not write out the word and. That is not APA correct. You are not likely to run into a lot of issues where there are 60 or so authors. For the most part, you will be able to include all of the authors in the citation, unless it is an extreme amount, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So, the next thing that you need is the year of the publication. This comes right after the final author. You put it in parentheses, and it is followed by a period. It's very simple. So you just find when was this published, parens, the year, you stick it in the middle, and a period. And that's all you need for the year of publication. The next piece that you need is the article title. So in this case, it is, what does television teach children, examining the altruistic and egoistic lessons in popular children's educational television. I chose this one. I guess it's a long title, and most of the titles you are going to come across are probably going to be very long. But what you need here to remember is that if you look at this, most of the words are not capitalized. The first word is capitalized, what, then there is a punctuation. So in a journal article, punctuation can include a comma, it can include exclamation point, a period, a semicolon, or colon. That is, if there is a punctuation such as that in the title, the word that follows it, in this case, examining, follows the question mark, is the only other word that gets capitalized. So do not capitalize every keyword in the title because that is incorrect. And after you've typed out their title, you want to just put a period to show that that section is done. So making sure you know where that punctuation goes is very important. Next, you have, in the case of a journal name. In this article, it was communication reports. You can see each word is capitalized in the journal name, not the article name. You want to italicize each title, or italicize the title, and it is followed by a comma. Next, we have some numbers here, which is the journal volume number and the issue number. So as you can see, in this case, the volume number is 34 and the issue number is 2. But you also need to make sure you have your formatting correct. The volume number is italicized, number 34, and then the issue number is supposed to be listed in parentheses and not italicized, followed by a comma. Again, why do they do that? I have no idea, but we're just learning how to format it correctly. Next, you have the page numbers, 106 to 119. If you look up an article and you read it online, it's going to tell you it's page 1 through 25. That may not be correct. You need to make sure that you have the numbers for the journal that it's listed in, where it's at in the journal. In this case, page 106 to 119. If it is 1 through something, you probably need to look up the actual page numbers. The final piece is the DOI, which is the Digital Object Identifier. As you can see, this is really just a link to the article. It is a DOI number is the link that is given by the journal article to that article to make it easily accessible to the reader. So when you type this out, though, you need to type it out in this order, in this correct way. https://doi.org/ and then the number. It is not just DOI: the number. That's an old way that we used to do it. That is not correct anymore. If you cannot find a DOI number, you can use the words retrieved from and then the web address. However, if you have a journal article, it probably has a DOI number. You just might have to look a little bit further for it. If you can't find it, you can go to www.cannotfinddoi.org, and they are very helpful in having, you can put in the authors, put in the title, and they are very good at finding those hidden DOIs for you. So all of these citations, that is one citation. In an article, you are probably going to have several citations. You will have those in your reference page. The reference page is anything that you've cited in the text, which we're not talking about in-text citations today, but anything that you have in the text the whole citation should be found in the reference page. So it provides that information. Who wrote the article? What is the article? When was the article written? Where is the article located? So here we have just an example. And I do suggest that you look at these sources, such as bibliography.com. They are very helpful in telling you the order that things need to go in, how to format it properly. So you see references is in the center of the page, at the very top, and then the citations. This is where you're definitely going to want to think about the alphabetical order of the first author of all of your papers. So you can see they're all nice and clean. We've got some different types. We've got books. We've got a few DOI numbers. We've got some of our journal articles. Now, with the information that goes on the APA reference page, first thing you're going to have, again, is the alphabetical order of the author's last name or title. So if you have an article by Katori and Frederick W., Frederick doesn't matter. We're not counting them. It's Katori that you need to be worried about. So you say you have two people, a Douglas C and a Douglas D. Well, they're both Douglas, so then you would go and look at the initial of the first name to see where they should be in your reference page. Also, the next one, Highswallow and Williams. Williams, again, does not matter in this case, so forget them. We're going with Highswallow. make sure those little tricky Simmons, that you're paying attention to all the letters. They look very similar, but they definitely are different and belong in a different place. And of course, one that ends with a Z is probably going to go last. So remember I told you there were lots and lots of authors in some papers. So this is another handout from bibliography.com that shows if you have one author, how you can cite it. So it's just the Fleming, comma, W or Q, comma, year, on you go. If you have 2 to 19 authors, then you list them all with the ampersand before the final author on the list. If you have more than 20, you don't have to list all of them. You should list the first 20, and then you can do the ... But hopefully you don't run into that very often. So this is just, again, a brief review of how to do those reference citations for journal articles. However, I recognize that there are many different kinds of articles out there, different kinds of sources out there. So what I do if I'm not doing an APA article is I will go here to alpurdue.edu. As you can see, they have a very nice website, everything's set up. We are using APA, so we definitely want to be in the APA guidelines. So we can click that, and it will tell you pretty much everything you need to know about APA. Be it that you want to do in-text citations or the reference list or just general formatting. It is all here. So it gives you, it's all broken down on the side. So maybe you are using a book in your reference list. So let's see how you would cite a book. So if you scroll down, they give you examples. We have the author first, just like we had before, the year, period, just like we had before. This time they have the name of the title of the book, and as you can see, you've got to pay attention. This is in italics, and then where it was published, the press, the publication source of this book. I'm so sorry. That's it. That's all you have to do is find out what the formatting is supposed to look like and format yours to make sure that you are doing the right thing. So let's look at some electronic sources. So as you can see, a web page, perhaps that's what you're looking for. This one has an author, it has the year, and what it is that you were looking up, along with where you got it from. So that name of the actual page. We scroll down. I don't recommend doing Wikipedia articles. They are notoriously incorrect, or because they are crowdsourced, you can't always trust the information, so maybe not Wikipedia. I already talked to you about doing DOIs. Let's see, what else do we have on this one? So if you're doing an online dictionary, if you're defining something, this shows exactly what you need to do. You have the encyclopedia of big data. It honestly, with APA, at the point that you're at, it really is just finding what it's supposed to look like and making that formatting it the way it's supposed to be. So if you ever have any other questions about anything having to do with APA, this is really a great site for it. They even have sample papers that you can look at to see if you are matching to what the expectations are of an APA paper. They would be right here if my computer wasn't being slow. So you can literally go on here and see each piece that is supposed to be on here. So I highly, highly recommend using alpurdue.edu to look up anytime you have a question about how something should be formatted. It will tell you exactly what it needs to look like, and you can make your citation look that way as well. So this is just that review of the APA references. If I have more time, I might do some more videos in the future talking about the different types of APA you could have. In-text citations, if we did title pages, things like that. But for right now, this is just that first step to help you all with your APA citations. So thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.